I was never the one to tell stories, but today I feel like I have to. This story is mine, and it's been with me for years, eating me up inside. His name was Alex. I met him in our last year of college. He was tall, strong, and had this way of making me feel like the only girl in the room. We met at a party, nothing special, just a regular college gathering. But from the moment we started talking, I felt something. I thought I had found the one. We were inseparable after that night. We talked for hours, laughed until our sides hurt. And when we weren't together, we were texting or calling each other. I remember when we made love. It was always filled with an electric tension that neither of us could ignore. The air between us would crackle with anticipation as we moved closer, our hands trembling slightly as they explored new territory. His touch was gentle, yet insistent, guiding me with a tenderness that made my heart race. The world outside ceased to exist as we lost ourselves in the warmth of each other's embrace. His lips would find mine, soft and searching, as our bodies pressed together, skin against skin, every inch of him igniting a fire deep within me. The passion between us would build slowly, an exquisite crescendo that always left me breathless. And when we finally joined as one, it was as though time itself had stopped, leaving only the sensation of his love and the overwhelming depth of our connection. We moved together in perfect harmony, our bodies responding instinctively to each other's rhythm. Every touch, every whisper sent shivers down my spine, intensifying the waves of pleasure that coursed through me. His hands, firm yet tender, would trace the contours of my body, leaving a trail of warmth in their wake, as if he was memorizing every detail, every curve. As we reached the peak of our desire, our eyes would lock, and in that silent exchange, then we would collapse into each other, our breathing heavy, hearts pounding in unison. I knew I had found something truly special, something that would stay with me forever. After a year, we moved in together. It was perfect, or at least I thought it was. His family liked me, especially his mother. His father was a bit cold, but I didn't mind. I was happy. For 2.5 years, we lived what I thought was a dream. We traveled, hiked, and spent our weekends exploring the world together. Then he proposed. I was over the moon. I thought we were going to be together forever. But then, things started to change. It was subtle at first. He would come home from work and be distant. He wasn't as affectionate as he used to be. At first, it was just once a week, then twice, and before I knew it was almost every night. I tried to talk to him, to figure out what was wrong, but he always had some excuse. Work was stressful, he was tired, something had happened at the office. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Thanksgiving came, and we went to visit his family. That's when I really started to worry. He was cold, distant, and barely spoke to me. His mother noticed too. She pulled him aside to talk, and I could hear them arguing. When I asked him about it later, he brushed it off, said it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. I could feel it. A few weeks later, he confessed that a woman in upper management at his job had been trying to get closer to him. He assured me it was harmless and he wasn't interested, even showing me his phone as proof. But something didn't sit right with me. I noticed that all the messages from the time he began distancing himself were gone, deleted. He kept insisting it was nothing, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously off. Then came the night of his company Christmas party. I couldn't go because I was sick, so he went without me. I was lying in bed, feeling miserable when I decided to check his location. At first, everything seemed normal. He was at the party, then a bar, but then his location stopped at a hotel. I wanted to believe it was nothing. When he came home the next day and lied to me about where he had been, I knew. For a month, he started working late, coming home at odd hours, and becoming more and more defensive whenever I asked him about it. I felt like I was losing him, but I didn't know how to stop it. I even talked to his mother, who admitted that she thought something was going on, but I couldn't bring myself to confront him. I was too scared of what I might find out. Then he got a new project at work that required him to travel. He was gone Monday through Friday for 5 weeks. It was during that time that I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't trust him, so I set up cameras in our apartment. I told myself it was to prove that he wasn't doing anything wrong, but deep down, I think I already knew the truth. Then it was my turn to travel. I was gone for a week to see my sister. The first few nights, nothing happened. But then, on the third night, a woman came over. I watched as they laughed, talked, and then she was in our bed. The room was bathed in the soft glow of the bedside lamp, shadows playing across the walls as their bodies moved together. The woman's laughter, light and musical, filled the air as she teased him, her hands exploring his skin with a touch that was both delicate and demanding. He responded in kind, his fingers tracing the curve of her spine, pulling her closer until there was no space left between them. The tension in the room built steadily, every whispered word and breathless sigh, a testament to the desire that had been simmering beneath the surface. When their lips finally met, it was a slow, languid kiss that deepened into something more urgent, more consuming, as they gave in to the pull of their shared hunger. The sheets tangled around them as they moved together in a rhythm that felt both new and achingly familiar, as though they had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Her nails grazed his back, leaving a trail of fire in their wake, while his hands roamed her body, memorizing every curve and contour. Their breaths mingled, quickening as the intensity of their connection grew, the world outside the bedroom fading away until all that remained was the two of them, locked in an embrace that felt like it would last forever. And then, with a final breathless cry, they reached the peak of their passion together, collapsing against the pillows in a tangle of limbs and whispered promises, the night wrapping them in a cocoon of warmth and contentment. This was the bed we shared. I was heartbroken, devastated, but I couldn't stop watching. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I needed to see it with my own eyes to believe it, but it tore me apart. When I came home that weekend, I pretended like nothing was wrong. I didn't know what else to do. I was too hurt, too scared to confront him. Instead, I tried to win him back. I planned a special weekend, did everything I could to make him remember why he loved me. But it didn't work. I could see the guilt in his eyes, but he never said a word. He just kept lying. For weeks, I watched as he continued his affair. I recorded hours of them together, and every time it broke me a little more. I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. I still loved him despite everything. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I made a plan to leave. I scheduled a trip for us, then told him I couldn't go and to take a friend instead. I knew he would take her, the other woman. I packed my things, cancelled our lease, and moved out while he was gone. I took everything of his and left it at his mother's house, along with all the evidence I had gathered. When I got to his mother's house, she was crying. She thought her husband was cheating on her, and she was right. They were two peas in a pod, him and his father, both liars, both cheaters. We cried together, two broken women, betrayed by the men we loved. I left that night and started a new life. I changed my phone number, my email, everything. I wanted to forget him, to move on, but I couldn't. I still loved him, even after everything. I still do. And that's my biggest regret. I wish I could hate him, but I can't. Even after all the lies, the betrayal, the pain, I still love him. And I don't think that will ever change.